guys. So it is currently the 21st of October. I'm just a huge fan of Halloween, so I wanted to make a video all about the best kind of Halloween reads, so like scary. The thing is, I don't really read too many scary books. I'm not a huge horror or thriller reader. It tends to just be about the blood and guts and gore and like jump scares rather than, oh, let's have some character development. So I've chosen about 10 different scary reads or ones that are more for the Halloween season. First one I'm going to talk about is more of a middle grade, but I know so many people that absolutely love it at any age. It is Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark by Alvin Schwartz, I think. This is basically a compilation of a whole bunch of different scary stories. They have these terrifying illustrations along with every story, and I remember more than anything it was the illustrations that scared me so much because they're so creepy, and honestly, I would say that's the perfect book for like sleepovers or sitting around a campfire. Ooh, it sets such a haunting mood. Next up we have In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. Now this book I originally had to read in, I think it was my sophomore year of high school. It is about the murder of this family. The story mainly follows around these two guys, the killers, and it's kind of their backstory. It's a real story. Like, this murder actually happened. Truman Capote went and interviewed each of the killers. You could tell that he was kind of infatuated more so with one of the two killers.
Oh, he's so pretty.
That was probably my favorite book that we read in any of my high school English classes, and I don't know what that says about me, that my favorite one was about murder. The next book is Last Seen Leaving by Caleb Rohrig. I actually just went to an author panel just a couple weeks ago. You can see my video, I'll leave it down below, and I met Caleb Rohrig. I wanted to put his book in here because he described it in this insane way where it's like thriller and mystery. Basically, this person goes missing and the main character tries to find them and solve this whole thing. And so I really want to put it in there because it's not so much super horrifying book, but it is more of a thriller, and it's a mystery thriller. Also, just as a shout out, because the other was amazing and I've already requested this book from the library because it sounds so good. Along those same lines, I'm going to recommend anything by Agatha Christie. Right here I have Death on the Nile. For murder mystery, thriller, everyone's dying and you need to figure out who's the killer before you die. So I always recommend those books for like the Halloween season because it has that creepy aspect without super jump scares and all of the horrifying aspects of scary books, but more feeling the suspense and stress of like, who's gonna die? Who's the killer? The next book I'm going to recommend is not necessarily creepy. It just has those aspects in it that make it feel more like the Halloween season, and that would be Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. You're following around 6 characters and they're grouped together to complete this super impossible heist. I love the concept, the characters are amazing, but the reason I'm choosing this book for a Halloween theme read is because of the atmosphere. You just don't trust anyone. Nothing is good. None of the people are good. Going back to the actual creepy reads that started this whole theme, I'm going to say Anna Dressed in Blood by Kendra Blake is another amazing Halloween read. Now, I haven't read this book for a couple years, but I just remember it being so creepy. I was just on edge the entire time, and there is just some incredible haunting descriptions that go on. This book follows around a guy named Cass. Basically, he hunts like ghosts and all those things, and he comes across this house that is haunted by this girl named Anna. Not just like any kind of ghost, she's like a poltergeist. She can throw things at you, she can kill you if she has the chance. Anna is basically stuck here in this like pit of rage and death because she is cursed. So you get mystery and suspense and horror and ghosts. The next book is The Forest of Hands and Teeth by Carrie Ryan. Now again, I haven't read this book for a really long time, so my information on certain plot points is going to be slightly off. There is this disease that has been plaguing everyone, and it turns people into living dead. The main character believes that her civilization that she's living in, this little quarantined area, are the only group of people still alive when there's a huge break-in and all of these zombie kind of things are coming for them. She has to try and find a new place. I don't know why, but it makes me think of like Hunger Games mixed with, you know, zombies. This book especially has tons of suspense. Whenever someone like stood and wasn't moving, I was like, you're gonna die. Please just get up and go. That book made me extremely paranoid. Now this next book I have talked about so often, but I have yet to read it because I'm a terrible person and it keeps on being put on the back burner of my list of books to read. But that is The Savage Song by V.E. Schwab. This seems so freaking perfect for the Halloween season. The main thing that needs to be known about this book is that there are certain types of monsters. Each of the monsters can do some nasty things. Next up, we have another super creepy book, and this one does have the blood and guts and gore. And that is going to be Silence of the Lambs by Thomas Harris? So people that don't know this story probably have only heard of Hannibal Lecter, and the thing is that in this story, he's not necessarily a bad guy. So the main character in this book basically solves murders, and she's tasked with trying to solve the murders done by this guy named Buffalo Bill. He kills these people and then like takes off their skin and uses it as like clothing almost. And to get more into the mind of a killer, she goes to Hannibal Lecter for help. Whew. Now Hannibal Lecter, I freaking love him as a character.
Brent, you love a serial killer? What the heck is wrong with you?
No. I don't like him as a human. He is a terrible human. He kills people and eats them. I love him as a character. He has so many different elements to him that make him so interesting. Please get that straight. I'm not insane. But yeah, Silence of the Lambs, I remember reading it for the first time and being hooked completely. Like I could not stop reading it, and the movie is also insane. It's one of the best book to movie adaptations I've ever seen. Last but not least, I am going to suggest The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. Now, I have talked about this book on my channel before, and every time that I have mentioned it, I have gotten extremely worked up. So I am going to try my very best not to get crazy. So the story follows this girl named Mara Dyer, and she and her family have just moved because Mara was a part of this building collapse in which two of her friends and her boyfriend died. She has been having strange flashbacks or visions ever since it happened. She's been seeing her friends and her boyfriend randomly show up. She'll see someone's death, and then a few minutes later it would have happened in the same way that she saw it. All of these crazy things are happening around her, and they're like messing with her head, and the entire time that you're reading this, you don't know if it's actually happening or if she's going insane. She's a very unreliable narrator because she might be completely insane. It still messes with me. If you guys have any other really good Halloween themed books that you would like to recommend me, please leave those down below because I really like these kind of themed books. They're creepy and they get me really worked up, which is always fun, especially for my roommate because she gets to see my freak out moments. But yeah, I would like to have more recommendations for a genre that I don't really get to read all too often. So if you have those, leave those down below. Otherwise, that's gonna be the end of the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Give me a subscription if you think I'm entertaining. Otherwise, bye! I need to stop with all the coughing.